Hello there, it's Antoinette and welcome back to our channel. Now in today's video we're going to take a look at what leaders in organizations, companies and employers, or those even in decision-making positions, need to know in regards to etiquette and race relations. Now hopefully this video will shed light on the necessary steps needed to take to make the working environment better for everyone, particularly if you have Black or ethnic minority people working for you. Now this is not an exhaustive list, and if required we can go into more detail and give action points on how to effectively implement change through one of our private training courses. So if you want more information on this, please do get in touch with us. Okay, so getting straight into it. As a leader, you set the tone or help shape the culture of your organization or your business. So this means that you need to be proactive and step up to the task of making sure that racial equality is fully established in your organization and that all your employees and your clients are comfortable with working with you, because etiquette is about making other people feel comfortable. Although there are many anti-discrimination policies in place for companies and organizations, this is often only referred to in cases of blatant discrimination and in the context of what we're talking about, racism. Now the problem is racism is overt and very subtle in workplaces, especially in the UK. Because of this fact, it can very easily go undetected or unreported. So due to the subconscious bias, an employee may not necessarily be a target of explicit racism, but will still on a daily basis have to suffer and manage the negative, particularly mental health effects of overt racism like microaggressions. I also want to point out that even though a person may not be racist, due to the systematic racism placed in the structure that supports your business or organization, oppression to your fellow colleagues can still be going on. So unless you understand it and then speak out against it and work to pull it out where it shows up, then it will always continue to be the very fabric of your organization and company and how it functions. This is why as a leader it's imperative that there's ongoing training and education around this topic so that it's more easily recognized and dealt with. So with that being said, the first point to consider is actually doing the work. Although some Black and ethnic minority people, or in the US referred to BIPOC, are open to authentic discussions regarding topics relating to racism and they may want to help out, don't expect or demand it from them. Basically, don't let the onus of trying to explain the Black experience or racism solely depend on your Black and ethnic minority employees. It shouldn't be their job to start educating your company or its staff. Many people just want to come to work, do their jobs and not have to deal with issues. So don't place that undue expectation on them. Plus, you need to take into account that talking about racism can be very exhausting, especially in light of the current situations going on around. It's very emotionally draining for many Black people. Many of them have had to silently deal with this most of their lives, and they may also not particularly want to have to talk about their experiences or give their opinions, especially if there's a fear that what they say could later jeopardize them. So for instance, if you're a non-Black employer, it's your responsibility to create a safe space for your non-white employees to be able to open up and talk about this, but I'll touch on this later on. You need to do the work of educating yourself so you can understand everything going on, and you'll be able to contextualize it and move forward in communicating this to the rest of your team or your organization. You may need to go over and above in understanding the fact that a lot of racism is systemic and institutionalized, so it's very easy for it to go unnoticed. Understand white privilege, white supremacy, anti-Blackness, because deep-rooted racism and the unconscious bias that comes with it is perversely ingrained in society. So it's very easy for non-Black people to not see it. Also realize that a lot of corporate companies are anti-Black. So for Black people to get a role in there and stay there, they have to sort of conform and fit in, and this can be very burdensome for them. Going through the process of learning and unlearning and becoming aware of what you may not have known already can be a very messy process, but also very necessary. And the key is doing it for the right reasons. Don't make it another tick box exercise. The authenticity of it, of wanting actual change, must be felt and seen by your colleagues. Now, as I've touched on before, you need to create a safe space for your non-white employees to express express themselves without having to feel that expression could later threaten their role in your organization. This is the fear many Black people have, and why so many choose to remain quiet on specific issues, even though they know that they have rights. They don't want to have to deal with the consequences of calling things out in a system that is set up against them. They shouldn't have any concerns about being judged or condemned, or any repercussions on them speaking out. If they've been hurt or offended or disappointed, allow them to open up about it, listen to what they have to say, and try to understand their point of view. You may not be able to feel their pain, but you can genuinely try and understand. This is where empathy comes in. When they see this happen and that their voice is respected, there'll be better trust between the two parties and more harmony in your organizations. Also have open and active discussions on anti-racism and the implementations that you're going to take against anti-Blackness, because there are so many different tiers and levels to this in organizations. Creating these safe spaces should also give you the opportunity to ask questions that can help you progress. Questions such as an organization, how have we failed you? Or where can we do better in regards to dealing with racism and tackling race relation issues? Or have we as the leadership exhibited racist behavior or enforced it in any way? But remember that your non-white employees must feel comfortable enough to be able to speak out. So if possible, when you're initially doing this, consider making these type of questions anonymous if you have the capacity to do so. The next point is to take responsibility, and I've touched on this before, but as a leader, you need to take full responsibility in actively seeking to learn, go over and above in trying to understand, and don't let ignorance be an excuse. You need to take the responsibility also if you mess up or miss it. Admit it, apologize, and push for reconciliation. Don't try to protect yourself or get defensive or deflect the issue. Listening is the best tool for this. If you lead by example, hopefully the others in your organization will see how you handle mishaps or anything that may come along the way, because this is a process and learning is step by step, so there are bound to be mistakes made, especially if it's all new to you. There may be many blind spots that you haven't noticed before, but when you do become aware of these blind spots, begin to work on implementing changes in these areas. Things may be uncomfortable, but it's in this discomfort that real growth and progress occurs. The next point is to implement the necessary. You or the practices you've enforced in your workplace may be a part of the problem and you don't even know it. The structures you've created might have held back Black people or people of colour, and it needs to be corrected from the roots so that equal opportunity is seen across the board. Many non-white people have had to adapt and put up with situations that are less than ideal, and it's hard for people that haven't experienced this reality to be able to relate. So a lot of empathy needs to come into place when implementing these things into your organization. You need to be careful of not just doing the works without actually doing the work. And when creating diversity and inclusion programs and initiatives, you going to get the experts without you wanting to learn about things yourself so that you have a better understanding. Basically, don't make diversity and inclusion programs a substitute from you trying to understand the issue at hand. Having said that, if you need to put new procedures in place for your team, make sure that they do reflect the core values of your company or your organization, and always remember etiquette principles. You might also want to consider things like how to change members of your board in your company to reflect your new values. We want to remind you that this is more than attending webinars and programs or reading books and documentaries. It goes past all of this. This is an ongoing process that needs your commitment. So if you need any help, reach out to us on your journey. We also appreciate that this is just the starting point for many people, and it's not an overnight job, but it's a process that will look different for different organizations. In your implementation, also bear in mind that this may cost you. There's no point in saying that you want to do something about it but have zero budget towards it. Nothing worthwhile goes without a cost. Don't expect people in and out of your organization to give up their time to freely come and educate you. See it as an upfront cost that should hopefully yield positive dividends for your company in the long run and for many years to come. Finally, be authentic. People don't expect change to happen overnight. I think now more than ever, you as a leader need to show your true self, share your experiences, your struggles with your team. Let them in on how you're finding this process. Be transparent and also give regular updates to let them know what you're thinking. If you feel out of depth, don't caver. Express these feelings to your colleagues. Have open and honest conversations. This is referring back to the safe spaces I was talking about before. This will not only enable you to build up your confidence in this area, but will create better relations. Be open to receive their input so that you as a team can grow and you have more sensitivity to other people's reality. The bottom line is you need to begin to use your influence as a leader in your organization to stand up and support your non-white employees or those that may not otherwise have a voice. This move will hopefully eventually flow down to the rest of your organization where other people follow suit. So that's it for now. If you like further information, please feel free to contact us and let the conversation continue in the comments box below. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our channel, like the video and click the notification tab so that you're kept up to date with all our latest videos. Until next time, bye for now and we'll see you in the next video.